Despite your nerves, you manage to conduct the class smoothly, engaging with the students and answering their questions. As the class ends and the students start to leave, you notice Snape lurking in the corner of the classroom, his arms crossed and his gaze still on you. You stand by your desk, trying to appear unaffected by his intense stare. The last of the students exit the classroom, leaving you and Snape alone in the silent room. Snape finally moves, slowly prowling towards you like a predator that has its prey cornered. He stops a few feet away, his expression unreadable, as he appraises you in silence. You can feel the tension in the air, thick and oppressive. You stand your ground, meeting his gaze evenly, refusing to back down. Finally, Snape breaks the silence, his voice. "You handled the class surprisingly decently," he says, his tone neither approving nor disapproving. "Is that a compliment or an insult?" you retort, unable to resist your natural sass. Snape quirks an eyebrow, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "A simple observation," he says, "though I suppose compliments aren't exactly my forte." You scoff, rolling your eyes slightly. "I've noticed." Snape lets out a humorless chuckle, his gaze still locked on you. "You have a sharp tongue," he remarks, almost begrudgingly impressed. You shrug nonchalantly. "I call it like I see it." Snape's eyes narrow and he takes another step closer, closing the distance between you further. "You're quite insolent, you know," he murmurs, a dangerous undertone in his voice. You lift your chin, refusing to show any signs of fear. "And you're quite infuriating," you shoot back, your tone cheeky. Snape's lips twitch upwards in a hint of a smirk. "Insolent and cheeky. A deadly combination," he muses, his gaze drifting to your lips for a brief moment. You feel a flutter in your stomach at his gaze, but you quickly quash it, refusing to give in to the strange attraction you're feeling. Snape takes another step closer, and now he's standing directly in front of you, looming over you with his tall frame. He reaches out and lifts a strand of your hair between his fingers, examining it intently. Your breath hitches in your throat as his fingers brush against your skin, and you try to ignore the electric spark that courses through you at his touch. Snape seems oblivious to your reaction as he continues to examine your hair, twirling it around his fingers thoughtfully. "Soft," he murmurs, more to himself than to you. You bite your lower lip, trying to maintain your composure despite the increasing intimacy of the moment. Snape's gaze flicks up from your hair to your face, his eyes dark and intense. "So soft," he repeats, his voice low and velvety. He reaches up with his other hand, gently tucking the strand of hair behind your ear. Your heart races as his fingers linger on your cheek for a moment, his touch sending a shiver down your spine. Snape's gaze locks with yours, his expression inscrutable. He's so close that you can feel the heat radiating off his body, and you're torn between the desire to push him away and the urge to pull him closer. The tension in the room is palpable, and you can't tear your eyes away from his intense gaze. You're caught in a strange sort of standoff, neither of you willing to break the spell that has woven itself around you. Finally, Snape speaks, his voice a low rumble. "Your trouble," he murmurs, his fingers still hovering over your cheek. You summon some strength and find your voice. "I prefer the term interesting," you retort, trying to sound nonchalant. Snape's mouth twitches into a smirk and he lets out a soft chuckle. "I imagine you do," he muses, his thumb tracing a lazy pattern on your cheekbone. You can feel the heat rising in your cheeks, your body responding involuntarily to his touch. You know you should move away, put some distance between you and Snape before things get even more out of hand. But you're entranced, unable to move as he continues to caress your face. Snape's gaze drifts to your lips again, fixated on how they tremble subtly with your quickened breaths. "So responsive," he murmurs, his voice a low, dangerous purr. He's standing so close now that his body is practically pressed against yours, and you can feel the solid warmth of him against you. His touch on your cheek becomes bolder, his fingers trailing down to your jawline, tracing the line of your neck. You shiver under his touch, your body betraying your warring emotions. You're caught between wanting to pull away and wanting to lean into his touch, your emotions a tangled mess. Your head is telling you to resist, to not let yourself get sucked in by his dangerous allure. But your body is reacting with a mind of its own. Snape seems to sense your inner turmoil, his touch becoming even more calculated as he continues to explore your neck with his fingers. "You're fighting it," he observes, his voice a quiet rumble. "Of course I am," you manage to gasp out, trying to ignore the shiver that runs down your spine. Snape chuckles softly, his fingers tracing a slow, tortuous path down your neck to your collarbone. But your body betrays you, he murmurs, his eyes fixed on the rapid throb of your pulse. You curse silently, knowing he's right. Your body is responding to his touch in ways you can't control, and you can see the satisfaction in his gaze as he continues to explore your vulnerability. Snape's hand moves lower, slipping under the collar of your blouse to rest on the bare skin of your shoulder, his thumb rubbing languid circles. So sensitive, he observes, his voice like velvet as he notices the goosebumps that erupt across your skin. You bite your lip, trying to suppress the small gasp that escapes you at the feel of his hand against your bare flesh. Your mind is fuzzy, your body thrumming with a mix of desire and self-preservation. Snape's hand moves again, sliding down your arm, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on the sensitive inside of your wrist. Your heart is racing, he murmurs, his thumb finding your pulse and pressing against the pounding beat there. You swallow hard, your breath coming quicker as he holds your wrist captive, his touch sending sparks of heat through your veins. He leans in even closer, his lips hovering just above your ear. And you're trembling, he whispers, his breath warm and tantalizing on your skin. You shiver involuntarily, your body responding to his proximity with a maddening combination of fear and attraction. Snape's fingers continue to toy with your wrist, his touch both soothing and tantalizing. You're like a wild creature, he murmurs, his voice a low rumble, captivated, but still fighting to break free. You want to deny it, to pull away and reassert your sanity, but you're powerless under his touch. Your mind is clouded, your body a jumble of conflicting urges. His lips brush against the sensitive skin of your neck, just below your ear, and you can't hold back a small moan at the electric jolt that courses through you. Snape lets out a low chuckle, his breath hot against your skin. There it is, he murmurs, his lips curving into a smirk, the sound you can't suppress. His hand on your wrist tightens, pulling you flush against him. You feel the hard planes of his body against you, a stark contrast to your own softness. His other hand tangles through your hair, pulling your head back to expose your throat. You're so close to the edge, he whispers, his lips ghosting over your jugular vein. Your breathing is erratic, your heart pounding so hard you're sure he can feel it against his chest. You're teetering on the precipice, torn between reason and desire. Snape's grip on your hair tightens, and he pulls your head back even further, his mouth now trailing a path of scorching kisses along your jawline. I can feel how your body yearns for release, he murmurs against your skin. You moan softly, your resistance fading with each touch of his lips. You're losing the battle, your body betraying you as it arches into his touch involuntarily. His hand on your wrist slides down to your hip, gripping it tightly as he pushes you back against the desk. You gasp, feeling the edge of the desk. Snape's body presses against you, his hips pinning you in place as he continues to kiss and nip at your jaw, your chin, your neck. His knee slides between your thighs, forcing them apart as he moves even closer, his body now pressed fully against yours. You're trapped, helplessly ensnared in his web of desire. He cups your chin, his fingers gripping your jaw with a possessive firmness. Look at me, he murmurs, tilting your head up to meet his intense gaze. You're powerless to resist, your gaze locking with his. His eyes are dark, almost feral with desire, and you can feel the raw heat radiating off him. Snape's thumb brushes across your lower lip, his touch both tender and commanding. You're mine, he whispers, his voice a possessive growl, and I'm going to claim you. Dear listener, if you want more foolish wand-waving, then head to Patreon to see what happens next.